Hey guys, Papa Pete back today, and today I got a little bit different kind of video for you, not a straight pickup video or anything like that. We're going to take a look at some of the games I used to play when I was a kid, and more importantly, games that I still play today. Recently, Brett Weiss had a great video on where he talked about 15 games for the Atari 2600 that he still played nowadays in 2021. And I got thinking that there are a lot of the games that I still enjoy playing too, and sometimes people don't know how great these games are because they sort of they discount the games before NES. They almost don't even think of them as existing. Now, the Intellivision is becoming more and more prominent, but the Atari 2600, man, that was a fantastic system back in the late 70s, early 80s as well. And there's a lot of those games that anybody can still have a lot of fun with today. So anyway, without further ado, let's go on to the top 15 games that I still love to play on the Atari 2600 today.
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. If you haven't grown up by the age of 50, you don't have to.
The first one I'm going to bring up is a game we probably all know, and that is Freeway. And yes, that was on Brett's list as well, but this is a game that I can remember the advertisements for way back in 1980 when it first came out, 80 or 81, and the commercials that used to play during the Top 40 Countdown that was on the radio in our local station Saturday mornings. They always had Activision commercials by David Crane, The Chicken Crosses the Road, It's Freeway. It was absolutely awesome, and it's a real simple game. It was developed at the same time as Frogger. It wasn't a Frogger clone per se. They still claim that those two games are being developed simultaneously. I actually did a complete review of Freeway back a couple years ago, so I'll put a link to that in the description below. But anyway, this amazing game. The story behind it is David Crane was at a convention in Chicago, and I think it was Lakeshore Drive. He saw this person trying to get across and how difficult it was for the person and thought that he was going to get hit. And he came up with this game concept, Bloody Human Freeway. And I've always thought that was sort of neat. You can actually get the ROM of that online, and you can play that version of it as opposed to the Freeway version with the chicken. Of course, for mass release, it had to be, the gore and stuff had to be taken out of it to make it just a chicken crossing the road. But you never know. Now with Audacity Games, I was in a chat the other day saying, hey, it'd be a good opportunity to bring up a revamped Bloody Human Freeway. A little bit morbid maybe, but what the heck, it's the root of where the game originated from, and I do love this game right here, Freeway. Next up is one that may not be in a lot of people's list, but a lot of my favorite games that I still play today, like boxing for Activision. There's going to be a lot of Activision games on here too, let me tell you. Are games that I have nostalgia for. This is a game that we had back when I was a kid. I think it was actually my brother who had it, so I played it quite a bit, and I still enjoy throwing it on and playing a couple minutes every now and again, at any time when I'm emulating, or even just to haul out the cartridge. It's a lot of fun. Top-down perspective, all you can see is the nose of the fighters, and you have the fists out to the side trying to punch them in the nose. And it's kind of frustrating at times, but it really is a lot of fun, especially with two players. So, boxing, number 14. Number 13 is another Activision game, and that one is Megamania. And that was always a great bottom shooter I found. Like Space Invaders is not on my list, but I do enjoy playing that quite a bit too. Maybe it'll make my next 15, you never know. But anyway, Megamania in my mind was one of the better bottom slide shooter genre games because of the different types of enemies that you'd fight. Of course, they all called them funny names, whether it was the radial tires or the steam irons or the flying bow ties. It was all kind of neat just what they look like. And it's more clear in this picture right here, the artist rendition, than it is in the actual game. But at the end of the day, it just really is a lot of fun. It very great variety. And the next game, it's another Activision game, not going to go very too far off that one. It's River Raid. I love River Raid. It was a fantastic game, flying up to the canyon with your plane, shooting the fuel tanks and the helicopters and the ships and the jet fighters and the bridges going up through. And it was a lot of fun just to play it over and over again, just to see how far you could get, and the strategy involved with keeping the fuel or gaining fuel while you're blowing up the tanks for points. Anyway, fantastic game by Carol Shaw. Excellent programmer back in the day. Love all of her work, from 3D Tic-Tac-Toe, which no, I don't play a whole lot, but still, it's pretty ingenious that she could create that, right up through River Raid, as well as other things on the Intellivision later on. Anyway, River Raid. Number 11 is a game that you may not have heard of. It's actually a movie title, and this was sort of the start of movie tie-ins because it was 20th Century Fox game, and the game is called Megaforce. And it was kind of neat because, of course, this is a game of flying motorcycles. It was a bit repetitious, but you'd fly through the air in your motorcycle, and you'd attack buildings on the ground, and you'd also attack planes in the air. And yes, I know it was repetitious, but it was really well done, and I liked the movie back in the day. I'm not a huge fan of the movie. Like, I got a friend, Viking Stu from Go Game Go, who was an absolute, he's a fanatic for this movie. But I really do like the video game. Had it back when I was a kid, had to get a copy of it. Got a copy of it for a great deal 3 or 4 years ago to replace it. So really happy, and I could put that in and play it anytime. Number 10 is one we're all familiar with. I also did a review of this game on my channel a few years ago. Check that out. There'll be a link in the description below. And that is Demon Attack. Demon Attack was the magic game that was probably brought to the most different console systems back in the day. There was the original Atari version right here, which was the most prominent. And then when this became hugely popular, again, a bottom shooter. Right there with Megamania. Which one do I like more? Do I like Demon Attack or Megamania more? Well, they're both bottom shooters, but this one just has a different feel about it. And I really love the sound, the graphics, and just the feel of playing the game. This is a ton of fun to play. Different versions, added different variations. For example, Demon Attack on the television, frankly, in my mind, was a completely different game. But anyway, I digress, because this is a game that I could plug in and play right now, and I could kill an hour without any problem whatsoever. Demon Attack by Magic. Number 9 is a game by Howard Scott Warshaw, probably his magnus opus, is that the term you call for it anyway, but it's Yars Revenge. I can remember getting Yars Revenge back in like 1983, didn't really know much about it. I think I got it for Christmas. Plugging in and going, what the heck is this? It was a lot of fun, I'll tell you that. Of course, you're the fly, I can't remember the term of all the things, Krylon soldiers or Krylon aliens or whatever they are. But at the end of the day, you're just trying to take out that cannon with your big mega cannon. And of course, it fires that swirl at you, and you try to hit that swirl in midair to get extra men to keep going. It's like most games back at the time. It was a matter of trying to get as many points as possible. But I'll tell you what happened is I stopped playing this game for points after a certain thing happened. And that was when you do hit the spiral as it's coming towards you in the middle of the screen, it creates one solid bar up the middle of the screen. And if you can position yourself right in the perfect spot on that bar, when the flashing screen goes away, you'll get the Easter egg, which is HSWWSH, Howard Scott Warshaw, and then his initials backwards. Neat Easter egg, one of the first ones I ever got, and I got it totally by accident. And ever since then, that's what I almost always try to do when I play this game. Anyway, Yars Revenge, ton of fun. If you haven't tried this, by all means, please try it, play it. Okay, for number 8 is a game, again, that I didn't have myself, but my brother had it, and it was an adventure game that I really love called Haunted House. Another one that I actually did a review for back a couple years ago. I'll put a link in the description below. Fantastic game, great idea about going into a mansion, trying to find the 3 pieces of the urn and getting it out while you're haunted by the ghost of, I can't remember the guy's name, the ghost who haunts the mansion, as well as spiders and spider and bats, and they try to kill you, so you can't get the different pieces of the urn and get them out. There's locked doors, there's scepters that help you against the enemies. Just a really well done game for the Atari 2600 era, as simple as it was. There's lots of complexity, lots of replay value, lots of different skill levels. So anyway, Haunted House, right there. So number 7 is a game, again, I've done a review for. I've talked about this game a ton. I did it also on an episode of the 125 because it was ported over to the Intellivision, and that is Activision Stampede. Fabulous game by Bob Whitehead. Love this game. Up and down, herd the cattle back, lasso them strategically so you get the high-pointed cattle all coming at once. Don't let any go by you, keep them herded. Man, it's just a lot of fun, and it's a great strategy game. Action and strategy all wrapped up in one. It's a lot of fun. If you haven't tried it, you really should. Stampede. I'm beginning to see a pattern here because I've reviewed this game as well. All these links will be down below. Anyway, basketball. This is, I think, no, it's not the very first Atari game, but it's like the third Atari game that I've done. They've mostly been third party, but this is a very basic, simple game. But it is a ton of fun. So easy to play, and just really a I don't know. I don't know how to put it. Back in those days, you couldn't get the detailed graphics that you can nowadays. So you just basically had to have something that simulated basketball, and it just gave you the satisfaction of saying you played the game. And this is a one-on-one game. It goes back and forth. The computer was savvy enough that they could program it that if you got too far ahead, it would pick up the pace, it would catch back up. Or if it got too far ahead, it would slack off a little bit, and you would be able to catch up. So really it's kind of good, the AI that was done in it. And awesome, fantastic game right there by Alan Miller. Perfect. Here's a game that you don't see very often on very many people's lists, really, and that is Flash Gordon. One that I had when I was a kid as well, one that I like very much, and it's sort of hard to see the tie-in with Flash Gordon itself. More so it's just for the box art, but 20th Century Fox did movie tie-ins. They found a game. You fly through a maze. There are different like segments of like clouds of enemies that overtake you as you're trying to clean out different parts of the maze, and hard to describe really, and it doesn't fit in with Flash Gordon very much in my mind. But that being said, the game itself is a lot of fun to play no matter what you call it. So anyway, if you haven't checked that out, please do. By all means, you will enjoy playing that game, and it builds up in difficulty enough that it's fun to play at the beginning when you can do it quite easily, and then as it gets harder and harder, it just becomes that much more fun. Never to the point of being overly frustrating. So, very well done, Flash Gordon by 20th Century Fox. Alright, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty now. This is number 4, and that is a game, again, that you don't see on too many people's lists, but for me, it's Fishing Derby. I told you about nostalgia. This is a game that my late sister gave me for Christmas back one year in about 1983 when I had no expectation to get video games for my sister. She knew nothing about them, and I thought it was great, and it's a fun game. It's a simple game. Two guys sit on a wharf, dropping their line down in, trying to catch fish at different levels, while a shark goes back and forth at the top, trying to eat the fish as you pull them up. First one to 99 points, or the most points within 2 minutes and 16 seconds, wins. So, fantastic game. I really enjoyed it, whether it's one player or two player. It's nostalgic. It means quite a bit to me, so I still turn it on and play it every once in a while to this day and age. And guess what? I've done a review for it on my channel, believe it or not, so you can check that out in the description below. Right on. So now we're down to the top 3. Before I go any further, I'm going to say for the last time, yes, all 3 of these games I did reviews for back in on a couple years ago. So check my channel; they're all going to be there, all the different reviews that I did. Now let's get to the games. This game I simply love. It's Air Sea Battle. It's one of the very first games that we had with the system. I had a copy, my brother had a copy with his family, and I can remember us all getting together, and we'd have tournaments and stuff of this. Game number 11, usually, I think it is, with the sliding guided missiles underwater, shooting the ships. There's all kinds of different variety, whether it's shooting the shooting gallery with the circus animals, or whether it's shooting at planes. Very simple, but very, very fun. And even one player used to just try to get to the score as quickly as possible. Score of 99 within the 2 minutes and 16 seconds, which wasn't an issue later on. It was just a matter of how fast you could do it. But just love playing this game, and it's even that much better as a multiplayer experience. So check it out if you haven't already. Air Sea Battle, Atari Inc. Now we're down to the nitty-gritty. Number 2. And I'm going to put this one in here because sometimes when I pick it up, remember, these are games that I play most often just to throw on and play a quick game of. And so this one in a lot of my lists is number 1, but for this one it's going to be number 2. And that is Adventure. Simply love this game by Warren Robinette. Whether it's to throw it on and play a quick game of level number 1, was pretty simple. I don't do that very often. Level 2, which is a full game but the same thing every time. Or more often than not, it's level 3, where it's random. You get the full experience of the game, but it's random mazes. Can't say much more than that. It's a famous game. Wasn't very valuable at one point until a certain movie called Ready Player One put it in the finale of it, and then it went right through the roof. So I'm glad I had my copy bought back by them, because again, this is copies that I've replaced from when I was a kid. But anyway, I love playing Adventure, and I might even turn on one of my emulators and play a game of this, or go over to the VCS and play this one right here as soon as I'm done filming this video. And now for number 1, I had to put this at the very top of the list, and that is Superman. Superman, in my mind, doesn't get a whole lot of love, but I find it a very interesting game because, of course, it used the multi-screen experience, one of the ones for the very first time. Yes, the engine in this was actually copied off of the engine for Adventure, even though this game ended up coming out first, but still, it's fun to try to do the quest as quickly as you can. Find the 3 pieces of the bridge and bring them back to the opening, and capturing the 7 crooks and Lex Luthor, putting them in jail, then getting back to the Daily Planet for the end of the day. So I think my record so far ever is 58 seconds. I can't find that. I haven't done that in forever, but I still remember that one time when I beat a minute and it was 58 seconds. But at the end of the day, I simply love this game, and frankly, all the years gone by since, it may very well be the best Superman game that was ever made right up to today. Superman, Atari Inc. Well, guys, that's it. 15 Atari 2600 games that I still love to play this day and age. They really do hold up. They're a lot of fun. And if you haven't experienced them, hopefully you see this video, you learn about some of these games, and maybe you'll check them out yourself. And if you have some games that you think should be on my list, the games that you really love, put them in the comments down below. I'd love to check them out because I'm always looking to add more games to my collection, and games that I love to play all the time. I may not be aware of it. So yeah, maybe there'll be another video of even more Atari 2600 games, because there really are lots of great games to play for that system. Anyway, guys, I'm Papa Pete. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with me today. Don't forget to hit like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time in the next video. You take care.
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. If you haven't grown up by the age of 50.
What is going on, guys? I'm CM Retro Gaming, and you are watching Papa Pete, the old guy gamer.
What the hell?